if you have damaged hair, how did it get that way in the first place? There are 3 ways that I know for sure will make your hair not as healthy as it should be. This is Dr. Dwella Moton Nelsons, your healthy scalp specialist. One thing is using chemicals and bleaches. Number 2, using too much heat or too high of a heat temperature on your hair. And 3, permanent colors. The first thing is bleaching and chemicals. Chemicals and bleaching tend to actually change the structure of the hair. It's very caustic to the strands of the hair. Caustic meaning it's not healthy for your hair strands at all. It also is not healthy for your scalp. And anything that you put on your scalp is going to go into your bloodstream and it's a part of your body. It then becomes a part of your body processing something that you've put on your scalp. Bleaching the hair in particular can cause the hair to become very dehydrated. People that have bleached their hair will say, oh, my hair feels brassy, or it feels like straw. It feels like very dry and brittle. That's because bleaching causes the hair to lose moisture, and it's very hard to retain moisture on bleached hair. If you do decide to do bleaching, or you do decide to do some type of chemical treatment, you have to make sure that your hair is moisturized, or you will have very dehydrated hair. You will have hair that's brittle. You'll have hair that breaks. You'll see pieces of hair in the sink, not hair that has completed the hair growth cycle, but hair that has been broken off, and that hair can become very damaged if it's bleached over and over again as well. So we want to make sure that if you decide to bleach, which we don't recommend you doing, but make sure that you're moisturizing your hair and that you're seeing a licensed professional that can help you to keep your hair as healthy as possible. The second thing is heat styling. When your hair is curly, a lot of times when you go in to get a heat style or a silk press, some of the cosmetologists or hairstylists will sometimes use a heat styling tool. It can be like a flat iron or a curling iron, and those can go up to very high temperatures. Some of them go up above 500 degrees. You do not need that amount of heat to straighten your hair, and if you do use very high heat on your hair, it also destroys the bonds of the hair. So you want to make sure that when you're using heat at a setting that does not damage your hair. I recommend if you're going to do heat styling that you ask your cosmetologist or your hair care specialist what heat temperature your tools should be used at, and not use temperatures that are way too hot for your particular hair type. And also, when you are heat styling your hair, it also takes out the moisture of your hair. It can lead to dehydration and lead to your hair being very dry and brittle. Now, I'm not saying that you can't use heat every once in a while, because if you're not using heat every day or using heat once or twice a year, if your hair is curly, that may not have a negative effect on your hair, but using heat every single day on your hair will absolutely damage your hair. And specifically using very high heats on your hair every single day is very damaging to your hair. The last thing is permanent hair color. I see that many of these styling places that you go to, like a JCPenney's or a salon that you might go to, they sometimes use a semi-permanent color instead of a permanent color. A permanent color tends to leave the hair more dry than a semi-permanent color. Again, this is the third thing that we're talking about that really dries your hair out, is permanent color. So you want to make sure that if you're getting a permanent color into your hair, that you talk with a hair specialist that can give you insight on ways to keep your hair healthy and keep your hair moisturized and hydrated when you've used a permanent color in your hair. You may wonder, once you have heat damage on the hair, if it can be reversed. There are lots of new companies that are out now that have products that are able to reverse and repair some of those bonds in the hair. Olaplex is one of those companies, and they do have a couple of products that are really great for trying to reverse heat damage if that heat damage is not severe. If you have severe heat damage, the outcomes of using something like Olaplex might not be as great, but it's definitely worth a try. Sometimes people do clip off the parts of the hair that have heat damage if they can't get it to reverse. This is Dr. Dwella Moton Nelsons, your healthy scalp specialist.